Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. My name's John and I'm going to give you a brief or quick look into or review, whatever you want to call it, into the newly released game Remnant 2. Now there's been lots of talk over this game over the past couple of weeks, majority saying that it is very good, some saying not so good, but majority saying it is fantastic, and I would tend to agree with them. Now first off, I want to look at sort of how the game runs, the rig I'm using. I'm using a pretty high-end rig. I have an i9 13900K. I've paired that with an MSI Supreme X 4090, 32 gigabytes of RAM, DDR5, 6000 megahertz. I'm running 240 hertz monitor, so I'm a bit of a sucker for FPS. Now, I've been running this game at 1440p. Now, I know some of you out there are going to say, why with that rig are you not running this game at 4K? Well, I can run at this at 4K, and I'm most likely to get into the sort of 100 FPS mark, but I much prefer 1440p around the 200 FPS mark. Now, as you can see, if I can go into the settings, so 1440p, I've got NVIDIA DLSS on, I've gone with quality. Now this is personal preference here with this one. Some go balance, some go performance, but I think if you're going to bother using this DLSS, you've got to go down the route of quality. That's just my personal opinion. Frame generation's on as well, which is also fantastic, and as you can see here, I've got everything set to ultra. And when I fire the game up in a bit, you'll see that I'm getting average of about 200, highs 220, 230, and lows of about, depending where I am in the game, it does drop to about 160, and that's at 1440p. Now, you can still play this 1440p with a mid-range rig. A friend of mine's got a half-decent mid-range rig. He's running it at 1440p. But he has dropped his settings down to a sort of high, ultra. He's sort of getting sort of 50 to 40, and when he goes to sort of drops them down to high, he's getting near the sort of 80s and 90s mark, which isn't bad. And to be quite honest with you guys, it's not much difference in visuals from switching from ultra to high. The only thing I've really noticed is sort of in the distance. You get more detail in the distance on ultra, but let's face it, we're not all looking in the distance when we're playing this game. But if you can, or you've got the rig to run it on ultra, by all means do so. Now, I haven't been playing this game for particularly long. I've only put in about 7 hours. As you can see here, it's about, well, just over 7 hours. So I really haven't touched each side of it yet. Long way off of that. My first impressions are, it's fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant, guys. If you like your first-person shooters, you like your Souls, your Bloodborne, that sort of thing, this will really appeal to you. In terms of difficulty, I'm not a fantastic, at first-person shooters. I'm reasonable, I'm not fantastic, but I have found it quite difficult. Maybe there's some of you out there who actually found it quite easy. You can up the settings. I've gone for veteran. Any higher than that and I think I'll be dying a hell of a lot, but veteran is the sweet spot. You get a perfect blend of sort of going through the game, getting absolutely mobbed, getting surprised, and it really is a scream. I've also tried it on co-op. Like most games, I always prefer co-op gameplay, so I've got a friend I play with on co-op, which I'm probably going to do a video on that as well over the next couple of weeks, and the game really shines when there's two of you. Don't get me wrong, if you decide to play this solo, it's still a fantastic game, a lot harder in my opinion, but like I say, I'm not great at first-person shooters. Like I say, I can only compare this to, it's really difficult to compare this game to others because I actually haven't played, I haven't played the first one, Remnant. This one I bought, I don't know why I bought this. I found it on CD keys for £29. On Steam I think you can pick it up at about 45 quid for this game, I would still be very, very happy. It is huge, loads of replayability, and I got it at 29 quid, so it was an absolute steal at that price. So I recommend, if you are interested in getting this games, get yourself on CD keys and get it for £29. You cannot go far wrong. So moving on to gameplay, as you can see here, I'm in a very pretty part of the game. It is a reasonable looking game. I wouldn't say it's the best looking game I've ever played, but it's got to be in my top 10 for sure. As you can see here, I'm getting about 180 to 200 frames per second. No stuttering, no frame drops. It is smooth as silk. But some of you may say, well, we'd expect that on your rig at 1440p. Now, a lot of people have said they're pretty disappointed with the graphics, but I'm not at all. I think it looks absolutely superb. Detail's good, distant detail's good, the lighting's great, and all the worlds are different and all the levels are different. So it's really, really nice because it mixes it up a hell of a lot. Audio is pretty good as well. You get good sound effects, you can hear footsteps from behind you, you can hear them creeping up on you. It's quite dramatic as well when it all kicks off and the mobs start pouring in. So it is a fantastic game. The only drawback, and this is the only drawback I have with it, is the mechanics of the bosses. Now I'm not a big fan of mechanics, and what I mean by that is I hate the fact of every single time in this game where you fight a boss, guaranteed, okay guys, guaranteed you're going to die at least 1 or 2 times until you worked out the mechanics of the game. I like games where you go in, you shoot them, and you use skill of maneuverability to avoid. You hit them, you move, you hit them. This, you can't do that. You've got to work out how you kill the bosses. For example, this one here, I've only done this once, but it is quite difficult because you've got to work out in sequence how to do things. And I've heard quite a few people, whether reviewing this game, say this is quite monotonous. But as you see here, it's just a case of working out where you've got to go, where to stand, take out all the lights. Right. Christ, get back, get back, get back, get back. Well, the dog's going to die. Okay, it's out. See if we can get across. No, I'm in trouble. No, and I'm dead. So as you see, guys, you've got to work out which way the stones are falling, take out the lights in time, and eventually I will do it. It's just a case of working it out. But that's the only thing I don't like about this game. And other bosses are fairly similar as well in terms of trying to find out how to defeat them. And that really is my only gripe with the game. Apart from that, it is really, really good. Like I said earlier, it's great solo. It's even better co-op. I will be spending most of my time on this game in co-op play. I occasionally will be playing it solo, but I think it's mainly targeted for the co-op audience. And I'm sure when you do play co-op, because I suggest you do, you will totally agree with me. So guys, in terms of builds, there's quite a lot to choose from. I went for a handler. Don't ask me why. I just like the idea of having a pet. I love dogs, so why not have an Alsatian running around the game with you? You've got a choice. You've got Alchemist, Challenger, Explorer, Gunslinger, Handler, which I currently am, Hunter, Medic, Summoner, Engineer, Invader, and Archer as well. There's so much in terms of replayability in this game, in terms of your builds, what classes you go for. You can go for a main class, then subclass. There's countless numbers of weapons. I'm slowly getting through the weapons and sort of knowing what they do. I've picked one. I've suddenly found out I've found another one which is also great. I've leveled that up. So in terms of replayability, this game is absolutely phenomenal because it just mixes it up so much. You've got so much variety in terms of players, classes, builds, levels, worlds. It is honestly, I've played it more now. The last time I spoke, I played it for about 7 hours, but now I've played it for a good sort of what we're on now. It's got to be coming up for 10. And it is really, really fantastic. This is one of my top games I've ever played for the amount of money I've paid as well. And like I mentioned earlier on CD keys, it's 29 quid. Bargain. Absolute bargain. This is in my top 5 now. I can't stop playing this game. Co-op, please go on co-op. If anyone's up for joining me on co-op, please let us know. Give us your username or Discord name. We'll get together because it is really fantastic. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching this video. I hope it's been beneficial to you. Please like and subscribe, and I'm going to put a co-op video on very shortly. It's me and a friend of mine playing, just giving you a sort of insight to the game. It's quite entertaining. I'm going to do some more reviews as well very shortly. So thanks for watching the channel, guys. Take care and buy this game. It's a must.